Brexter lowered his gaze with the tip of his nose looking unusually straight. I did it out of impulse, but I didn't regret it, because I really wanted to do this when I fell in love with you. Kira's ears were burning faintly, but she still raised her eyes and glared at him. We've been dating for half a day until now, and you have made a speedy progression. Today we kissed, but after this... I'll definitely reduce the speed after this, Brexter said with a sincere gaze. Kira, don't worry. I'm not a casual person. Yes, I know, but when you are casual, you are not a normal person. Kira nodded. Brexter looked at her for a moment, then he smiled at once and reached out to pinch her nose. Kira instantly stared at him with vigilance. Brexter's lips curled up. It was just a joke, Kira. No matter what, I will respect you. I kissed you because I really like you. I know. Kira lowered her head, feeling a little embarrassed by his continuous confession. It's late. I'm going back now. Okay. At this instant, Brexter unbuckled her seatbelt. When are you free? Let's go for a movie. Sure. Kira didn't reject him. After all, they were dating. It was normal to have a date. She got out of the car. Brexter watched as she walked into the neighborhood. He thought to himself, on the next occasion, I must park my car properly and bring her in. This neighborhood is such that cars could not drive up, could only drive directly to the parking lot. It's even more difficult for outside vehicles to enter. It seems like he had to get a car access card in her neighborhood. At this moment, after she had calmed down and recalled it thoroughly, Kira realized that she was lucky after all. At 29 years of age, she could still feel her heart throbbing and was able to meet someone who could move her heart. Life had treated her quite fairly. If it was possible, she also hoped that this relationship would come to fruition. After she finished showering, she received Brexter's messages. I have reached home, Kira. Tonight, I was like a young man being together with you. I could clearly feel that I'm in love. I never thought that I would have this kind of feeling. Even though we've only been dating for half a day, I wanted to be with you forever. Kira looked at the messages and thought, Heavens, why are all my boyfriends especially fond of sending nauseating love messages? Even though she had been hurt before, she still believed that Brexter's words came from the bottom of his heart. After all, wasn't this how it was when one was in love? Especially at the beginning when everything felt good. A moment later, Kira lowered her head to reply, but after typing for a while, she deleted it again. She realized that she wasn't as thick-skinned as Brexter, who was so head to dead before, but was now mushy after being in a relationship. Before she could reply, Brexter replied again. What did you want to say to me? It kept showing that you were typing, but you didn't reply. So he had been staring at his screen the entire time? Kira was embarrassed and immediately typed in. I wanted to say, weren't you still mocking Garrett for his sweet words today? You've learned from him so quickly. Brexter. For that kind of scum to be able to catch up to you, it shows just how weak your immunity to words is. Sometimes I can learn from him, but the difference between us is that I'm speaking the truth and he's lying. Kira laughed to herself and replied, All right, I got it. Go to bed early, Chief Judge. You're not young anymore. If you sleep late, you'll age faster. Brexter. Don't worry. According to the statistics, women age faster than men. There was no way to chat properly. Kira, do you want to be replaced on your first day? Brexter, who was sitting on the bed, quivered and quickly replied, But you are an exception. I will definitely age faster than you. Kira giggled lightly. What a strong desire to survive. After the chat ended, Brexter turned off the lights and went to sleep. He realized that he couldn't sleep. As long as he closed his eyes, all he could think about was that kiss in the car. The next day, when Kira woke up and was brushing her teeth, Caleb called her mysteriously. You spent the night with Chief Judge Williams? Kira almost choked on her toothpaste and quickly spat out some water and said grumpily, Can you put something healthy in your head? Caleb's voice was innocent. Didn't you check your social media early in the morning? Chief Judge Williams actually posted at 12 a.m. He usually reposts all sorts of legal content and news about the rule of law. But there was a paragraph describing his emotion out of the blue. Something big must have happened. Kiera was speechless. Oh, you do follow him quite a bit. I remember that you only added him recently. You read through his previous posts and understood them so clearly. What do you mean? Didn't I do it all for you? Caleb chuckled. Kiera took a sip of water to wash off the phone in her mouth. What did his post say? I won't tell you. See for yourself. Caleb hung up. Kiera opened it curiously. Brexter had posted a very short message in the early morning. Can't sleep. The most special day. I'll work harder in the future. Under the post, Aaron commented, Congratulations, let me guess. Is Kiera sleeping next to you now? Kiera gaped. People nowadays. Why are their brains so dirty? Kiera replied directly to Aaron. Sorry, I'm sleeping in my own bed. Aaron replied to Kiera. Got it. I know the time and place. Why did she feel that he had misunderstood her even more? At that moment, she was so glad she and Brexter didn't have any other friends other than Aaron. At 8:30 a.m., Kiera was changing in the changing room when she received a call from Brexter. Have you eaten breakfast? Yes. What did you eat? Kiera thought to herself that this was probably the usual conversation between a couple in the beginning. She and Brexter were the same, but it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with it. Wasn't this just getting to know each other? I made my own bread. Brexter was stunned for a moment before he praised her from the bottom of his heart. Kiera, I realize that you really know a lot. In the past, I thought that other people being good at filing lawsuits and scolding people, the kitchen wouldn't be your area of expertise. I didn't expect you to be so virtuous. Very few women nowadays know so much. After finished speaking, he reflected deeply. Without knowing a person well enough, one couldn't simply judge a person. Kiera's mouth twitched. It was understandable for her to go to court. But what was the point of being good at scolding others? Didn't she just scold him once in the washroom? How could he still remember that till now? Don't misunderstand. I just bought a bread maker, threw in the ingredients, then opened it 2 hours later and started eating. Brexter was silent for a while before saying, Is the bread made by the bread maker delicious? Don't tell me you brought it back from abroad again. That's not it. I bought it here, but it's also a foreign brand. It's just a little expensive, Kiera said honestly. But there's a reason why it's expensive. The bread made is better than the ones bought in the shops outside. Of course, the main reason is that it's healthier. That's true, Brexter said in surprise. I didn't expect you to care so much about eating healthy. Yes, that's a must, Kiera said seriously. Is it because I have a lot of money? I will earn even more in the future. My goal is to become a billionaire, so I have to cherish my life. After all, too many young people are suffering from cancer these days. Brexter coughed lightly. The more they talked about this topic, the weirder it became. Don't talk nonsense, but it's not unreasonable for you to be so worried. How about this? If you and I are free after work in the future, I will come to your house and cook for you. Why did it suddenly rise to the point where he had come over to her house to cook frequently? Kiera was stunned. Actually, It's decided then, Brexter said. After all, you're someone who wants to become a billionaire, so you do have to cherish your life. I also have to take good care of your body, so I'll still have to rely on you to support me in the future. Kiera was on a call with Brexter. Are you at work? She asked. Yes, I'm sitting in the office, Brexter said. I'm going to see the director later. He saw my post and asked if I was in a relationship with you. I said yes, so I guess he must be reminding me of the things I need to pay attention to when I'm in a relationship with a lawyer. Kiera was embarrassed. Being in a relationship with the most promising judge of the court was really different, and it had escalated to the point for the director to personally look into it on the second day of their relationship. Who told you to post on social media? Don't you know how to keep a low profile? I just wanted you to see it. Brexter suddenly lowered his voice. I couldn't sleep much. I don't even remember how long it had been since I had sleeping trouble. Kira's heart was soft, but she couldn't help saying, I heard that everyone has a certain age threshold, and at that point, it's easy to suffer from insomnia. You can take some medicine to recuperate or drink a glass of milk. Brexter felt as though a bucket of cold water had been thrown at him, stirring the cold. He seemed to understand the reason why Kiara was still able to stay single even though she was so beautiful and capable. He felt that he was rather unromantic. But now he realized that there was someone who was even more unromantic than him. Kiara, I'm having insomnia because of you. Brexter was helpless. It seemed that euphemism wasn't really suitable for Kiara, so he could only be more direct. You're the one who can make me suffer from insomnia, and you're the only one who can prevent it. Even drinking milk and medicine is useless. Kiara was already embarrassed, but now she was even more embarrassed. If you made her speak about the law, she can go all around it. But if you made her respond to affection? Yes, I know, it's normal for me to be so charming. Brexter was silent for a while before chuckling. You're right. But insomnia yesterday and insomnia today can't hold too long. Do you have time tonight? I'd like to meet you and watch a movie together. I have a social dinner tonight. Maybe after dinner? Okay. After hanging up, Brexter turned on his computer. Sandro came in with a pile of files. Chief Judge, there are 21 cases on your side today. After he said that, he instantly felt that the leader's expression, which was previously filled with joy, had instantly darkened. Sandro could only explain helplessly. Recently, there's been a lot of cases. In addition to your colleague's maternity leave these few days, everyone's workload has increased again. There are more criminal cases. Brexter rubbed between his eyebrows. He disliked criminal cases and business cases the most. They were the most troublesome, especially for someone of his level. The cases that were assigned to him were all big cases, and the work was especially complicated. Moreover, the open court session would be held this morning and afternoon. Even if he worked overtime at noon, he would have to stay up until 9 o'clock to get off work. It would take him another 40 to 50 minutes to go to Kiara's place. So it was unlikely that he would be able to watch a movie. Oh, right, Chief Judge, are you in a relationship? Congratulations. Sandro congratulated him sincerely. Brexter glanced at him expressionlessly. That's right. I originally planned to go on a date tonight, but it seems like it's gone now. Sandro braced himself and said, I think you might not just be gone today, you'll also be gone tomorrow. Tomorrow night you're going to be interviewed by the reporters and the people from Rosewood City Evening News will be coming over. Why me? Brexter's brows deeply furrowed. Because the dean said that you're the most handsome person in the court? Sandro forced a smile. Dean also said that your appearance on the news will attract more school graduates to study law. This will improve the imbalance between men and women in the judicial world. After all, this is an era that depends on one's looks. Brexter was speechless. He didn't expect him to be responsible for improving the imbalance between men and women. He had no choice but to send a message to inform Kiara that the movie was canceled tonight. Kiara felt a little regretful. She had been thinking about what movie to watch tonight. Was it easy for an unmarried young lady who had been single for a long time to watch a movie? It turned out that she was stood up just like that. After dinner with Sasha and her client, Sasha smiled and said, Lawyer Cal, you're finally dating Chief Judge Williams. You should have a date tonight, right? Ever since Caleb saw Brexter's post, everyone in the law firm knew that she was dating. He has to work overtime today and tomorrow. Kiara looked at the time. It was only 8 o'clock. Are you busy tonight? Why don't we go watch a movie? Sasha was stunned and said with mixed feelings, Lawyer Cal, I didn't expect that I would accompany you to the movies on your first night of not being single. Kiara originally thought that it was great, but after hearing her words, she suddenly felt miserable. Forget it. It's better not to go. Let's go home and read the documents. Kiara waved her hand. It was more important to focus on earning money. No, I'll go with you. Sasha quickly hugged her arm to not let her go home alone, and her imagination run wild. Recently, a classic Japanese anime, Spirited Away, was released. The two of them did not really care that they had to watch an anime, as long as it was good. After buying a ticket and going in to watch it for more than 10 minutes, Kira felt a little bored. Sasha could not help but ask, "Isn't this anime quite classic? All the big-name vloggers are praising it. But why do I feel that it's just average?" Kira thought about it and said, "Maybe it's because we've watched too many movies and we watched everything. But this cartoon was released more than 10 or 20 years ago. It's a classic and has a profound meaning. What we're watching is our emotions." Sasha nodded her head, and the two of them continued watching with popcorn in their hands. Around 9 o'clock, Kira received a call from Brexter. Before he could speak, he heard the sound of a scream coming from Kira's side. Where are you? It's quite noisy." "I'm watching a movie with Sasha," Kira said in a low voice. After that, there was silence, and Brexter said in a low voice after a while, "Kira, I'm jealous." What was there to be jealous about watching a movie with a female subordinate? He should be feeling sorry for her, all right? "Why didn't you just wait for me?" Brexter sighed deeply. Kira was silent. She couldn't possibly say that she went to the movies because she didn't want to go back after he stood her up. "Which movie theater are you at? I'll look for you," Brexter said. "Let's go and get some dinner. I just got off work." Kira looked at the time and pondered. "It'll take you at least 40 minutes to get here from the judge's place. It'll be about midnight by the time you finish your dinner. You have to go back to work tomorrow. How about—" "I didn't have dinner," Brexter interrupted her. Kira opened her mouth and asked, "Do you have anything to eat at your place? I'll drive over to eat with you." Brexter chuckled. "Are you afraid that it'll be too late by the time I finish my dinner, so you suggested eating at my place? But Kira, even if you eat at my place, I won't let you drive back alone. I'll be worried." Kira blushed. She didn't expect him to see through her immediately. She didn't want him to go through all that trouble, and she was already tired after a whole day of work. "Wait for me at the entrance of your neighborhood," Brexter said. "Go home and put the car away. I'll pick you up to eat with me. I remember that there's quite a lot of food around your neighborhood. Kira, I'm tired from work, but I'll be even more tired if I don't see you." It was noisy in the cinema, but his voice drifted into her ears like a cello, causing Kira's heart to burn. After the movie ended, she drove back to her house and parked the car. Brexter had arrived as well. She got into the passenger seat. He was wearing a light blue striped shirt with slightly rolled sleeves and a few buttons unbuttoned at the collar. There were 2 Starbucks on the shelf in the car, and the faint aroma wafted through the air. "I bought you a cup of hot chocolate." Brexter pointed at the Starbucks paper cup in front of him. "Other than coffee, there aren't many varieties of Starbucks. I don't want you to drink coffee at night, so I bought hot chocolate." "Then why do you drink coffee?" Kira frowned. "Do you drink coffee because you're tired? Oh, right. You said you didn't sleep well last night." She was the same. Sometimes she was too tired from working overtime and would always drink a cup of coffee to feel better. However, drinking too much coffee wasn't good either. "Kira, I know what you're trying to say." Brexter's black eyes revealed a faint smile. "Indeed, under such circumstances, I should just go home and make some dinner to settle my sleep. But strangely, I just don't feel like going back. No matter how late it is, I still want to see you and have something to eat with you. I'm not worried about myself, but I'm afraid that I'll disturb you. Have you been disturbed by me? I've heard that women need to take a beauty sleep. If I did, I won't come to see you after 10 next time." There was a calmness and sincerity in his eyes and tone. Kira shook her head subconsciously. Although she had been playing with her phone in bed at 10 p.m. recently and was tired of going out to social events, it was probably because of him, so she could change for him. "No, I usually go to bed around 12 a.m. and am on my phone until late," Kira said honestly. "Then wouldn't I be disturbing you from being on your phone?" Brexter raised his eyebrows. Kira picked up the hot chocolate and took a sip. She lowered her head and said in a casual tone, "You're more interesting than my phone right now?" Brexter's lips curved into a smile. In the car with dim light, he looked like a blooming ephylium at night that was extremely charming and elegant. I'm honored. He reached out his large palm and stroked her hair. Kira's face was flushed from his smile. I'm talking about the present? I know. When we get married in the future, you'll find me more interesting than a phone. Stop your perverted thoughts right there, Kira mumbled. Brexter looked wrong. What I mean is that after we get married, we can discuss the law in the dead of the night. As two legal practitioners, do you think this is meaningless? Or are you really thinking about something dirty, which is why you say that I'm having perverted thoughts? Kira bit her lip. She didn't expect that she, who had always been eloquent, would be rendered speechless by his words. Looks like the lawyer can't win against the judge, Kira said with a burning face. No, because the judge's words are more logical. Brexter smiled as he leaned over and kissed her cheek. Kira glanced sideways, looking at his handsome face that was right in front of her. Her heart skipped a beat. So pretty. So pretty. Why is he so good-looking? Kira, I missed you. Kira gripped the seatbelt beside her with a throbbing heart. After a while, she turned to look out the window and said awkwardly, It smells like coffee. And chocolate. Brexter gripped the steering wheel tightly and his eyes were filled with deep gentleness. It was already 10:40 p.m. when they arrived at the snack shop. Brexter noticed a long line of cars parked outside the shop. Looks like this night snack shop is pretty good. It's all right. The ribs here are delicious, Kira said, looking at him. It's not the kind of restaurant with home-cooked dishes that you normally go to. Is it all right? Those kinds of restaurants may have already closed. Brexter pushed the door open and got out. The two of them went upstairs and found a seat by the window. Brexter only ordered one of the ribs from the midnight snack shop and then let Kira make her orders. Kira looked at the marked ribs and smiled. Then what do you want to eat? You can order it. I don't know what's good here. Just add scrambled eggs for me, Brexter said. Kira finally ordered a serving of cheese fries, a Caesar salad, and eggs. After the dishes were served, Kira suddenly realized that Brexter was only eating scrambled eggs. She frowned. Aren't you going to eat something else? Brexter drank some water when he heard that. Don't tell me I have to eat so much food by myself, Kira finally now realized. How can I finish them all? I'm full, Brexter said honestly. Kira rolled her eyes. How can you not be full after eating such a big bowl of eggs? If I were to have a night snack with you, one bowl of scrambled eggs for each of us would be enough. My usual night snacks are eggs only, Brexter said honestly. I don't eat much else. Then you should have made it clear from the start. I can't finish all the dishes that I ordered. Kira felt that it was a downer. Night snack was something that could only be enjoyed with someone eating with you. I don't care. You have to eat these with me. Brexter didn't like being forced, but when he saw Kira forcing him, he didn't know why, but the more he looked at her, the more he liked her, and the more he wanted to listen to her. Okay. He ate the fries obediently. After eating for a while, Kira felt a little guilty. He had eaten so much earlier. Would it cause his stomach to explode? Just as she was hesitating whether to say anything, he suddenly brought the fork to her lips. Kira opened her mouth and ate. He was delighted and fed her even more frequently. In the end, Kira was so stuffed that she couldn't bear it anymore. Oh, it's over. If I continue eating like this with you, I'll definitely gain weight, Kira said gloomily. You might look better if you gain some weight. Brexter looked at her for a while and told her the truth. Kira raised her head. Speaking of which, all of the judges' wives seem to be chubby. That's not chubby, Brexter corrected her. That's a form of happiness because judges love their wives very much. Kira smiled. Don't try to fool me. I remember that judges are all very busy. The last time I went to the court, I saw a judge in your court being threatened. Rexter's expression darkened at the mention of this matter. This is a common occurrence in the court. Many people are not satisfied with the verdict, and it's also common for some extreme people to come and cause trouble. Threats and intimidations are a small matter, and some people will even come and commit suicide. Kira sighed. Have you encountered this before? Brexter nodded. Kira's heart suddenly felt a faint pain. But it's still all right. It's even harder for the enforcement judge, and it's even more tiring. Brexter suddenly smiled. But no matter how tired we are, we will carry it on our own. It definitely won't affect the happiness of our wives. Kira smiled as she propped up her chin. I'm sorry. I don't want to be happy. I just want to be as beautiful as a flower for the rest of my life. Then I can only be responsible for earning money to support my family. Brexter picked up another piece of fries and passed it over. No. Kira turned her face away, her lower lip curling slightly, looking rather cute. Brexter deepened his gaze. He couldn't figure it out. It was just a simple movement, but why did he find it cuter the more he looked at it? He wanted to hug her and pamper her, but he couldn't be too abrupt and could not scare her away. He was in his early 30s, but he seemed to have fallen back to his early 20s. Let's go after we finish eating. Kira stood up as it was getting late. Brexter paid the bill and got into the car. I have an interview tomorrow night at Rosewood City Evening News. I wonder how long I'll stay busy. Kira was stunned. After a while, she looked him up and down. Not bad. You are about to appear on the news. Your director has a good eye. If he pushes you up, he might be able to make the young girls outside yearn to be the judge. I just want you to look up to me. Brexter held her hands and played with them. Even though it was very late, he was reluctant to drive away. Was he going to flirt again? Kira's face was red, and she braced herself and said, I will watch the news then. Remember to wear something nice. But I don't know what to wear. Brexter was stunned and told her the truth. Kira mumbled in her heart. He was using his good looks to do whatever he wanted with his appearance. The black sweater you wore the last time was pretty good. It was sexy. Brexter understood and was amused. So you like me to wear a black sweater? I'll wear it for you next time. After he said that, he leaned toward her. Kira suddenly felt that the air was thin. Was he going to kiss her again? As two people who had just started dating, weren't they kissing too frequently? However, she realized that she was thinking too much. He just leaned closer to her and rubbed his head against her. He looked a little like a big dog. She used to think that he looked like a Doberman. Why did he become a big golden retriever now? Kira turned around and held her breath. With your figure, you look pretty good in a sweater. It doesn't have to be black. Actually, a shirt's not bad either. Okay, I got it. He replied in a low voice as he smelled the delicate fragrance on her body. In the future, he would wear a sweater and a shirt when he went out with her. This time, he sent her to the gate of the neighborhood. After getting out of the car and opening the door, he was not in a hurry to let her go. Instead, he hugged her and asked, Kira, do you watch movies? Yes, I do. Kira felt weak from being hugged by him. After all, this was the gate of the neighborhood. Usually there would be a lot of familiar faces going in and out. The two of them were not teenagers, so hugging each other like this was quite embarrassing. You're not looking for me to watch a movie again, right? I think we should wait until you're free that day, in case you stand me up again. I'll definitely be free the day after tomorrow. I'll buy a ticket when I get back." Brexter hugged her tightly for a while, kissing her forehead before letting her go. "Let's go back." Kira turned back to look at him. Why did she feel that Brexter was like a wolf, covetously eyeing her? When they entered the neighborhood, the security guard smiled and said, "Lawyer Kell, you found a boyfriend." Kira was embarrassed. She had lived here for a few years and the security guard knew her. "I saw that car drop you to the door a few times. Congratulations," the security guard said sincerely. Kira nodded. The next day, Aunt Karen called and asked her to go over for dinner. It had been a long time since she went to her aunt's house. Kira bought skincare products and went over. As soon as she entered the house, Karen beamed. "Why didn't you bring Brexter over?" Kira staggered and looked at her aunt helplessly. "You're as well informed as ever." "Please, I'm the one who introduced the two of you." Karen accepted the skincare products naturally. "You're giving them to me, right?" "You should. I introduced you to such a handsome and professional man. Back then, you insisted that he was no good. How long has it been since you've thrown yourself into his arms?" Kira's face was burning. It was as if she had slapped herself in the face. Her uncle rolled his eyes at his wife. "All right. It's not like enemies don't come together. As time goes by, love will develop. Moreover, Kira has to go to the courthouse frequently, so they have to see each other often. As time goes by, the love seeds grow." "That's true," Karen nodded. The two of them chimed in as if they had witnessed the entire process of their relationship. Kira forcefully changed the topic. "How did you know? We've only been dating for 3 days." "I have sources." Karen scooped up some rice for her. "And Brexter added me on social media today." Kira was stunned, but she frowned, displeased. She didn't like the fact that the man had gotten close to her family so soon after they started dating. If they were to get married, it would be a natural outcome, and she didn't like to be persuaded by her family. "He just asked me what you like." Karen could read her mind. "He said he wanted to get to know you better, but he didn't flatter me." Kira finally felt relieved. "Although we are dating, it hasn't been long. It still depends on whether the two of us are suitable. Auntie, don't tell him too much." "I didn't say anything." Kira sighed. "I'm really happy for you. I hope you can meet someone who understands you and you can have your own family. Your parents are getting more and more outrageous." "What's wrong?" Kira raised her eyebrows. Karen shook her head. "A few days ago, your parents came to see me. They said that Ella's illness hasn't improved at all in the mental hospital. I don't know where they heard the news that there's a mental hospital somewhere outside the city that has excellent medical treatment. There's a drug that can improve the brain sensitivity, but it's a little more expensive. They want to transfer Ella there." Kira's temples throbbed. "Are they crazy? I've consulted a lot of people about this mental hospital. It's already very good. If there was such a good hospital, I would have sent Ella there myself." Karen sighed. "They probably wanted me to advise you, but I didn't. They got more muddled-headed as they got older. Some hospitals aren't that easy to trust. Nowadays, many places are just using pyramid schemes to scam people." Kira suddenly felt tired. She had a feeling that her parents wouldn't let it go just like that. After returning home, Kira gave her father a call. He answered and said, "Your call came in at the right time as I was about to visit you recently." "Where did you hear the hospital was good?" Kira asked. "Your mother heard it when she was square dancing." Kira was so angry that she laughed. "I know you might not believe me if I told you directly," Gordon said. "I even specifically contacted the doctor at the hospital and told him about the situation. The doctor said that they had cured many people with Ella's condition. You don't want your sister to be crazy for the rest of her life, right? You can't give up when there's an opportunity. Our family isn't a family that can't afford to eat without that much money. You're right. Kira didn't want to confront them directly. Tell me the name of the hospital and the doctor's contact information. I'll check it out thoroughly. If it's true, I'll definitely send her over. Gordon was quite cooperative, and he immediately forwarded all the relevant information about the hospital to her. Kira contacted the doctor over there and listened to his nagging for more than half an hour. She couldn't hang up the phone even if she wanted to. In the end, she got annoyed and said, I think I understand everything. I'll think about it. Goodbye. After hanging up, she consulted Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith was Aaron's private doctor who was currently the chief physician of a hospital in Rosewood City and a member of the German Medical Association. After listening to her, Dr. Smith said, Don't believe in such things. If mental illness is so easy to treat nowadays, why do so many patients often hurt people? Nowadays, some unscrupulous private hospitals take advantage of the family members of the patients who eagerly want to cure their loved ones. They will do anything, especially to cheat middle-aged and elderly people off their money. I understand. Kira wondered how she could convince her parents about this matter. If she didn't do well, they would misunderstand her again. Misunderstandings was secondary, and money being cheated wasn't a priority either. She was mainly afraid that Ella's illness would get worse and worse. She was very troubled. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. After she saw clearly who it was through the peephole, she opened the door in shock. Brexter was wearing that black sweater and stood outside the door with a cold aura. Why are you here so late? I bought you some food. Brexter lifted the fruit and cake in his hand. I've been calling you, but I couldn't get through. I had no choice but to come up myself. It's a good thing you're home. Yes, I was on the phone about something. Kira turned to let him in. Brexter placed the things on the table. They were all cherries, strawberries, and kiwi fruits that she loved. My aunt told you that? Kira was surprised. You know that I contacted your aunt? Brexter did not answer her question directly. Yes, I went to her house for dinner. Kira brushed her hair. Brexter, we just started dating, and I didn't think about marriage. I understand. I didn't mean to curry favor with your aunt. And I don't know how to do that with elders. Brexter turned around and hugged her waist. But I feel that your aunt is very good to you. She understands you better than your parents. I want to know more about you. Oh, right. Your aunt sent me a message tonight saying that you might be in a bad mood today. What's wrong? Kira rubbed her forehead speechlessly. It's something trivial. It's not trivial, Brexter lowered his head and said. Whether you're in a good mood or not is very important to me, and I need to bear it with you. Kira's heart trembled. She raised her head and met his dark eyes. At that moment, his words actually made her feel a sense of reliance. Kira, I don't know what it is, but I think it's normal for everyone not to want to say something embarrassing. Brexter frowned as he thought about the truth. But I don't think there's a need for the two of us to hide so much. I've seen you in your most pathetic state. Your tires were flattened, you were molested, attacked by your ex-boyfriend, and threatened by your parents. You know the most embarrassing parts about me. My parents don't like me, then my ex-girlfriend ditched me when we were about to get married and quickly got together with another man. I don't have many friends because I don't know how to get along with others. I'm not likable. The more Kira listened, the more uncomfortable she became. She reached out to cover his mouth. Who said that? You're quite adorable to me right now. Brexter looked at her. She couldn't see his mouth, but his eyes were filled with joy. Kira's face was burning as she let go of him. She lowered her head and said, Actually, it's not a big deal. It's just that my parents want to transfer Ella to another hospital. She briefly explained the hospital situation. Brexter instantly understood. Nowadays, there are so many private hospitals taking advantage of loopholes. To put it bluntly, these medicines are a type of pyramid scheme, but the laws can't do anything about them. That's right, Kira sighed. How can my parents have so much money? When the time comes, they will still ask me for it. Why should I be cheated out of my money? But if I tell them, they will probably say that I'm stingy and think that I don't want to treat Ella. She's still my biological sister. They can treat her. How could I not? Don't say any more. I know. Anna's also mentally ill. I know all these aspects. Brexter pulled her to sit down. Kira was so upset that she didn't notice that she was sitting on his lap. She continued. You can't do it the hard way. When the time comes, they'll have to borrow money everywhere and I'll still be the one to pay it back. The worst case scenario would be to borrow money from the loan sharks. Kira, let me persuade your parents, Brexter suddenly said. I'm a judge. My words are more reliable. Kira was stunned. But my parents have seen you before. They'll think that I'm on your side. If I can't do it the easy way, then do it the hard way. Brexter smiled. Kiara, your sister's illness can't be cured in a day or two. Your parents are always using this to bully you. You can't keep doing this. Last time they straight up threatened you. Did they apologize? Now they are rushing to ask you for money. Your heart is still too soft, so they see that you are easy to bully. Kira had her mouth wide open and she didn't know what he was trying to do. About that, I heard that your parents got divorced because of you? Brexter glanced at her silently. You are afraid that I'll cause your parents to get a divorce if I appear? Don't worry. A husband and wife like your parents, who vent their anger in the same way and are so unreasonable, will definitely not get a divorce. My parents were purely not in a good relationship for many years. Some people who don't know the truth like to blame me. Oh, Kira thought of the unaware Aaron. Leave it to me. Don't let your imagination run wild. Brexter hugged her intimately, his chin resting on her head. Kira only regained her senses when she felt a little warm. Oh God, what position were they in now? She was sitting on his lap and he was hugging her with both hands. There was no gap between them at all. You, Kira patted his arm in embarrassment. Are you trying to be a hoodlum when I'm in a bad mood? Let me go. All right, I'll go wash the fruits for Lawyer Kell. Brexter stood up with a smile, carrying the fruits to the kitchen obediently. Since he had hugged her earlier, he had also secretly kissed her. Kira looked at his back view. Her initially frustrated heart suddenly felt at ease. The next day, during lunch break, at the court archives room, Sandra returned to work at 2 o'clock and saw his boss sitting at the table, eating bread while flipping through the files. He was shocked. Chief Judge, you didn't even go to lunch today? Why are you flipping through the files? Is there any big case that you need to refer to the previous files? No. Brexter shook his head without raising his head. Kira's parents met some medical companies that are similar to pyramid schemes. I want to look for some relevant cases to remind those two old people. Sandra was speechless. You didn't even eat lunch just for this? Yes, we can't delay work time. We can only rely on rest time, Brexter said without lifting his head. After a while, Kira walked in. She saw Brexter engrossed in work and walked up to him. Kira smiled as she went up to hold his arm. You're wearing a sweater again today. Brexter was stunned, his gaze sweeping past the hand on his shoulder. For the first time, she took the initiative to hold his arm. His cold lips curled and he turned to look at her. Didn't you say that I look good in a sweater? But do you have that many sweaters? Kira raised her clear eyes. The weather's turned cold. Let's go shopping together sometime. I'll pick out a few clothes for you and buy some for myself. Sure, we'll go together on Sunday break. Brexter hugged her tightly. It was already late, so the two of them walked out of the building hand in hand. It was just after work, and many colleagues were in the hall when they saw the two of them and started sizing them up. Brexter didn't mind, and Kira was a little embarrassed, but she didn't let go. On the way, she bumped into a few young women who were looking at her resentfully. Thinking about it, it was actually normal. With Brexter's position and appearance, it wouldn't be normal if he didn't have a female following. After getting into the Audi, Kira smiled and said, I just realized that someone had a crush on Chief Judge Williams in the court. Brexter was confused. Who? I don't even know. I won't tell you. Kira shook her head and took out her phone to look for a place to eat. How about having barbecue tonight? Yes. Is it all right if you don't go to a restaurant with home cooking dishes? Kira asked. When Brexter heard her, he suddenly missed the taste of such a restaurant, but he still said, I only ate there at noon. Kira turned back and stared at him without moving. Brexter felt guilty. What's wrong? I bumped into your assistant at the door. He said that you were eating bread in the reference room. Kira directly exposed him. Brexter's handsome face instantly turned a thin layer of red. He secretly marked Sandro as being too talkative. He said that you're investigating medical cases for my parents, right? Kira's gaze was still fixed on him, and the lawyer's gaze seemed to be able to see through a person's heart. Brexter once again held a grudge against Sandro. He had no choice but to nod. I've thought it through. I'll analyze various cases and tell your parents. If they don't listen, I'll use force. Sometimes the elderly are too pedantic and stubborn. I can't indulge them, of course. I need you to cooperate with me. Kira nodded. Brexter was surprised. If you don't ask clearly, how would you cooperate with me? I know. Kira suddenly moved closer, a sly smile hanging on her lips. I understand. Didn't you say that we're very similar, so I understand what you're saying? Brexter stiffened as he looked at the face that was moving closer and closer with his breathing turning heavy. It was too seductive. How could she get closer and closer to him? Her smile was so beautiful and her words were so seductive, and it was a pleasant surprise. But don't work so hard next time, Kira said softly. Aren't you tired recently? No matter what, you still have to eat. If you're too busy and have to work overtime at night, you don't have to keep coming over to visit me. I can come to the courtyard to accompany you. Brexter cupped her little face and darkened his gaze. Why are you suddenly being so nice? Because I feel... In the past, I might have been too cautious about relationships. I was always afraid that if I put in more effort, I would get hurt. Kiera shrugged self-deprecatingly. Why haven't I got married at 29? It's because I'm afraid. I don't want anyone to hurt me. I won't. Brexter placed a hand on the back of her head and kissed her. After eating barbecue that night, Brexter and Kiera watched a movie together. Speaking of which, this was their first serious date apart from dinner. After entering the venue, the two of them sat in row 13. Kira felt that it was all right, and this movie was pretty classic too. After watching it for a while, she looked at Brexter beside her and saw that he had been squinting his eyes the entire time. You can't see clearly? Brexter nodded awkwardly. Kira realized that he was nearsighted. Then you don't have glasses? Yes, I left them in the car. I forgot. Thus, during the second half of the show, Brexter went to the car to get his glasses. Kira bought an ice cream when she was bored. After Brexter returned, she explained, I didn't know if you would eat it or not, so I didn't buy it for you. Okay, I'll eat it, he nodded. Then let's go buy one for you. Kira stood up, but just as she stepped forward, she was pulled into Brexter's arms. "It's enough for us to eat one," he whispered into her ear. Kira's mind went blank. Wasn't that just like an indirect kiss? "It's not enough. I eat quite a lot by myself." "Then I'll eat a little." Brexter was exceptionally determined. This was the ice cream that he was determined to get from her. Kira had no choice but to share one with him in the end. He ate very little, but every time, he would take a small bite at the place where she had bitten, causing her heart to go soft. After the movie started, it became quiet inside. At the back, a pair of young university students could be heard whispering, "Do you see that uncle and auntie in the front? Tisk, tisk. They are really getting tired of eating ice cream together." "That's right. The uncles and aunties nowadays are really inferior to us when it comes to dating." Kira was so angry that she forgot to be embarrassed. She turned to Brexter and asked, "Do we look very old? They look so old themselves, and yet they still call us uncle and auntie." "No." Brexter patted her head and explained calmly. "Young people these days always think that they are very young. They call everyone auntie on the streets just to find a balance in their hearts. Don't bother with such childish people." Kira nodded and reflected. Are we really being too lovey-dovey? On the way, she had seen girls and boys around 18 or 19 years old dating. "No, we're in love," Brexter said as he took out a pair of gold-rimmed, round-rimmed glasses from his pocket and put them on. Kira was stunned as the round-rimmed glasses were usually hard to style with and tested the shape of the face. When she was at the film company, she had seen many popular young men wear them. But when Brexter put them on, they were filled with a cold, elegant, and aesthetic aura that was so exquisite that they could kill a lot of young men. "What's wrong?" Brexter turned his head unconsciously. "Nothing." Kira took a deep breath and secretly told herself that she had seen a lot of things such as Aaron, Jeffrey, and other handsome men who she got tired of already, so she shouldn't be easily seduced by men. "Your glasses are quite trendy." "Yeah. Sandro helped me choose them," Brexter said faintly. "I don't really like them. The square glasses are fine." Kira suddenly realized that she was puzzled. A person like him would not buy such trendy glasses, so it was the assistant. "They're good. The glasses are not bad. The quality must be very good." It wasn't until half an hour after the second half when he noticed that she had secretly looked back at him countless times that he realized that something was wrong. It had been like this before, during the first half. "Am I that good looking?" Brexter caught her gaze. Kira's face silently turned red in the dim theater. Kira screamed in her heart. Not only was he good looking, but he was also too abstinent. "It's all right," she added vaguely. "I'm not used to the way you wear glasses." "How about this?" Brexter took off his glasses. "Put it on," Kira advised sincerely. "Otherwise you won't be able to see it." "Then let it be if I can't see it. It's better than you think I'm not good looking," Brexter said plainly. Kira was anxious. "I didn't say that it's not pretty." "Stop comforting me," Brexter frowned. He knew that it was Sandro's fault that he didn't look good in his round glasses. "They're really pretty." Kira had no choice but to bite the bullet. "It's because they're pretty that I keep looking at you." Brexter turned to look at her. He looked into her big, bright eyes and was sure that she wasn't lying. "They're really pretty?" He put on his glasses again and leaned toward her. Kira stared at him without blinking, with her heart racing. "They're pretty." It looked even better when they were so close. Brexter then realized that Kira had a thing with glasses. Oh, right. She'd almost forgotten that Garrett also wore glasses. He kissed her fiercely, swearing that he would always wear glasses from now on. Kira was taken aback, but she didn't pull back from the kiss. After kissing her, he asked, Kira, do you like any man who looks good with glasses, just like you liked Garrett back then? Kira was stunned. She felt a strong sense of unease and quickly explained. I didn't like him. I just had a good impression of him, and I thought I could give it a try with that good impression. Brexter was finally satisfied. He pulled her over and asked, Do you like me then? Kira's gorgeous face still turned red after being kissed. Don't run away. Don't beat around the bush, Brexter said. Kira had no choice but to avoid his gaze and hide behind his ear. She whispered in his ear, I like you. Brexter's heart skipped a beat and he sucked in a breath of hot air. If she says she likes him, then she likes him. Why did she have to whisper it in his ear? She even said it in such a pleasant manner that was powerful enough to seduce someone to death. However, looking at her innocent eyes, he knew that she definitely didn't know. She just had a beautiful face. She looked like an experienced lover and a vixen. But actually, he didn't even want to give a description. After watching the movie, Brexter sent her home. This time, he parked his car at the entrance of the neighborhood and personally sent her home. Don't go through so much trouble. Our neighborhood is quite safe, Kira said. I know. I want to accompany you for a walk. It's still early anyway. Since Brexter had already said so, Kira joined him for a stroll around the neighborhood. Luckily, the neighborhood scenery was pretty good, so when she went to the entrance, he hugged her for a while. Just as she was about to let go, a man's voice suddenly came from behind. Kira, when did you find a boyfriend? The two of them turned around, and only then did they notice Gordon and Jeshua walking out of the neighborhood building, looking at them in shock. Why are you here? Kira frowned, having a bad premonition. Of course, we're here to look for you. Jeshua walked over and sized Brexter up. Oh, I remember now. Aren't you the one from the mental hospital? How did you two get together? What do you do? Sir, ma'am, I'm Brexter Williams, he explained calmly as he held Kira's hand. I work in the court. My position is a judge. Gordon and Jeshua were stunned when they heard that. A judge was a very powerful position. They didn't expect their daughter to find such a man to be her boyfriend. Both of them worked in the office at the admired government departments with secured positions and wouldn't be easily unemployed. As for Aaron, whom their daughter used to like, Gordon and his wife thought that their family was too cold and heartless, as if they thought that they were superior just because they had a few dollars. They didn't have any manners, and they didn't put anyone in their eyes. They thought that they were stupid and easy to bully. Hello, Brexter, right? Gordon shook his hand. We're Kiara's parents. I know, we met at the mental hospital last time, Brexter nodded. Gordon and Jeshua suddenly remembered that they had threatened Kiara at the hospital last time, so they were a little embarrassed. But they quickly understood that they were Kiara's parents, so he had to be polite no matter what. How long have you two been dating? Gordon changed the topic. When do you plan to get married? Dad? Mom? Kira couldn't take it any longer and interrupted. You should go home early. I'll come and meet you tomorrow. It's already so late. Do you trust us to go home ourselves? Jeshua frowned. Today we're mainly here to look for you. We're planning to spend the night here. I want to talk to you about Ella. You have to give me an answer. Jeshua had already thought it through. It was rare for her daughter to find a man as tall, handsome, and powerful as Brexter, so she definitely wanted to cherish him and mention the matter of helping Ella in front of him, in order to protect her good reputation of being filial and loving towards her younger sister. She would definitely agree to Ella's transfer. She had her own intentions, and Kiara was a smart person, so she immediately understood. However, she was also extremely disappointed and chilled. What if Brexter didn't understand her character? Her parents would be making things difficult for her if they said this in front of him. If things went wrong, Brexter would even misunderstand that she was a heartless person. Gordon also understood his wife's meaning. He immediately smiled sheepishly at Brexter and said, "You might not know this, but Kiera's biological sister is currently in a mental hospital due to trauma. We went to see her last time. I heard that there's a hospital." "I know. Kiera told me about it yesterday," Brexter interrupted her. Gordon was stunned and nodded. "It's good that you've heard of it. Then help persuade Kiera. Her sister's illness needs to be treated as soon as possible. It's heartbreaking to see her acting so crazily every day." Brexter's expression remained calm and composed. "After I found out about this, I immediately told Kiera that it might be a scam. Then I asked my friend at the hospital to find out more. My friend said that the medicine isn't that miraculous. Currently, the best medicine is available at Rosewood City's mental hospital. A relative of mine is also treating her illness there, and now many health clinics are using the slogan of curing her illness as false advertising. They say it's direct marketing, but in reality, they're doing it just like a pyramid scheme." "A pyramid scheme?" Jesha frowned. "How could such a good hospital be a pyramid scheme?" Kiera wanted to sneer. Didn't these two people know how to read the news to gain more knowledge? Brexter was a patient person and continued to seriously discuss with Kiera's parents. "The criminal who caused a commotion a while ago, did you know that he still has a hospital? How many people have been cheated and how many patients have been harmed? The closest example is Rosewood City. Our court has handled many cases and many private hospitals have done a good job in publicity. When the patients' families went for consultations, the doctor talked so much and in the end, hundreds of thousands of dollars were thrown in, but nothing could be cured and the cases were filed in court. There are countless cases like this." Gordon nodded. "What you said is not impossible, but you can't say that this hospital is fake." Kiera couldn't help but say, "Didn't you say that you consulted the hospital's doctor?" "Is your friend a psychiatrist?" Jesha asked. "If he isn't, how would he know? Furthermore, the doctors there might be more knowledgeable than the doctors here. I had a friend who couldn't be cured in Rosewood City. In the end, he made a trip to upstate, and now he is still alive and kicking." Brexter said, "If it was a regular hospital, of course, it would be possible. However, private hospitals are all for profit. We also called that hospital and asked them to give us the name of the medicine, but they couldn't give us the exact name. I guess they developed it themselves and probably didn't get the country's approval through the proper channels." "That's just your guess. There's no doctor's consultation and you didn't even pay for it. How could she tell you the name of the medicine?" Jesha retorted. "Besides, there are so many quack doctors. You judges should sentence them to close down that type of hospital when they are at court. Otherwise, what are the judicial authorities for?" "Mom, the judicial authorities are working very hard to maintain order. But there are still some traps that you have to be on your guard against." Kiera really couldn't take it anymore. "I've already contacted the doctor from that hospital. His tone is almost like that of a salesman. Can't you tell? Also, which doctor from the official hospital will call you every day?" Since yesterday, that doctor had taken the trouble to make 3 to 4 calls. "In short, you just don't want to fork out this money, right?" Jesha could finally see it. "Don't worry. I don't plan on taking your money. Was it Ella's lawsuit? That heartless man had compensated more than $1 million. Give us that money and I'll treat Ella's illness. You as a sister don't want to care about her anymore. We can't just leave her." "It's precisely because it's Ella's money that I can't let you guys be cheated by others," Kiera said angrily. "Who knows when Ella's illness will be cured? When she wakes up, she'll at least have some money in her hands. She'll have a future. Besides, I've already used her money to buy a fund under her name." "Oh, you're using Ella's money to invest?" You just want to keep that money for yourself. You've fallen into a money pit, Jesha said angrily. You already have so much money, and yet you didn't even let go of your sister's money? You don't even have a bottom line. Gordon sighed and said kindly, Kiara, take out the money. It belongs to your sister. Kiara was so angry that she was fuming. Brexter pulled her behind him gently, his gaze turning cold inch by inch. If it's compensation money, then according to what I know, the case was won because of Kiara. It wasn't worth more than $1 million for a cut on her face. It was all because of Kiara. Furthermore, Ella's expenses from the hospital to the mental hospital were all paid by Kiara. In addition to the money, Kiara would have to pay in the future. There's no reason for you to ask for money from her. Jesha flew into a rage. Since when did you have the right to interfere in our family's matters? Is being a judge that great? Don't tell me you're thinking of taking our family's money. Do you think that if you marry Kiara, the money will be yours too? Kiara rubbed her face. She truly felt embarrassed. If it were any other man, he would have long been scared away by her parents. That's right. In the future, I want to marry Kiara, so all the money in Kiara's hands has to be approved by me. Brexter's gaze was cold. Initially, I was kind enough to analyze it with you guys, but since you guys didn't listen, there's nothing I can do. Kiara won't pay any money. All right, if you guys want to borrow money, Kiara won't pay you guys. From now on, all her money will belong to our little family. Gordon couldn't hold it in anymore. Stop dreaming. Kiara's my daughter. When did it become your turn to make the decision? Let me tell you, as long as I don't agree, you guys can forget about getting married. If you want to scheme against the Kell family's money, don't even think about it. Brexter smiled calmly. How has it become your Kell family's money? It's clearly Kiara's hard-earned money. Even if it's her biological parents, they don't have the right to deprive her of the right to use her own money. Oh, right. It seems like you guys haven't apologized for the slap you gave Kiara at the mental hospital last time. As soon as he finished speaking, his tone involuntarily darkened and the smile on his face slowly froze. Jesha and her husband felt an inexplicable sense of fear. They were already shrouded in anger. Do you know why I hit her? Besides, what's wrong with me hitting my own daughter? She did something wrong, so why can't I teach her a lesson? You can't. Brexter let go of Kiara, took a step forward, and walked up to Gordon, narrowing his eyes slightly. In the past, when I wasn't around, you guys were unreasonable and bullied Kiara. From now on, with me around, you guys cannot touch her again. She's no longer alone. You guys are her parents, and she's soft-hearted. There's nothing I can do about it, but I'm not soft-hearted. You! Gordon glared at him. A moment later, when he saw that he was unmoved, he yelled angrily at Kiara. Say something! Is this the man you found? Break up with him right now. I've never seen someone so uncultured. He doesn't even know how to respect his elders. Kiara understood Brexter's thoughts. This time her parents had made her heart turn cold. In the past, she had endured it, but it was useless. They were getting more and more unreasonable. He's right. Kiara held on to Brexter's arm and stood beside him calmly. All these years, you've always pushed Ella's responsibility onto me. I've had enough. Brexter has given me the warmth I want. In the future, I won't be alone when facing both of you. With his support, I won't be afraid of anything. Besides, I can't always be on Ella's side. I should have my own plans too. In the future, I want to get married and have children too. I really can't spend money recklessly. That's right. You have to give it to our children in the future. Brexter hugged her tenderly. As for your sister, to be honest, you should mind your own business. If your parents want to do something, then let them do it. Why bother? Isn't there a saying that a married daughter is like water splashed out? They don't treat you well, and they've even slapped you in the past, treating you like a commodity. It's enough that you have me. In any case, you have to keep the money firmly in your hands. Even if it's your parents, you can't give it to them. Your parents aren't reliable either." "I understand." Kira raised her head and looked at him with an infatuated expression. "In this world, you are the only one who treats me the best. You are even better than my parents. Brexter, I will definitely not let you down." Gordon and his wife were dumbfounded. "Kira, are you crazy? You actually believe in a man?" Moreover, this man was extremely shameless, trying to sow discord in front of them. "He's not an ordinary man. He's very handsome and has a lot of charisma," Kira said with a smile. "A lot of what he said makes sense. I'll fall out with whoever stops us." Jesha and her husband thought that their daughter was really smitten by Brexter, but it was no wonder, as this guy was cunningly charming. "Kiera, do you want to sever our relationship as father and daughter?" Gordon's fingers trembled. Kiera then frowned, but Brexter stroked her hair and said, "It's good to sever it. I think your parents are too uncaring and stubborn. They will definitely borrow money from everywhere to avoid them and Ella from implicating you. Let's end it today. We will go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow to get a stamp. Otherwise, there will be no legal effect." Kira looked troubled. "But—" "Kira, they will drag you down," Brexter said with a sigh. "They only have your sister in their hearts. Why do you have to think so much?" "All right then," Kira nodded before looking at Gordon. "Dad, let's draw up an agreement tonight." "You too!" Gordon's face was red with anger. Of course, it was impossible to sever the father-daughter relationship. He was just saying it out of anger. With Ella's current state, it was uncertain whether she would wake up or not. In the future, the couple would have to rely on Kira for their funeral. "You work at the court, right?" Jesha suddenly sneered at Brexter. "Fine, I will go to the court tomorrow and make a scene. I will say that not only did you seduce my daughter and want my daughter's property, you even encouraged her to sever her relationship with us. I will let your people see your true colors." Kira frowned when she heard that. Making such a scene would really affect Brexter's reputation and future. "Okay, you must remember to make a ruckus," Brexter said with a smile. "Anyway, there are people making a ruckus at the entrance of our court every now and then, but recently we've been very strict with them. If they make a ruckus, they'll immediately be arrested and locked up for a month. Also, before you make a ruckus, remember to ask around about my reputation. I'm famous for being a cold and heartless judge. A long time ago, I broke off my relationship with my parents as I was cold-blooded and cruel. My uncle and the others didn't have contacts with me at all. Everyone in the court knows about this." Gordon and his wife were completely shocked. From his expression, it didn't seem that he was lying. If what he said was true, what kind of person had his daughter found? "Kiera, listen to what he said. How could you be with such a person?" "It doesn't matter, as long as he treats me well. Besides, it's quite good for him to sever his relationship with his parents. There won't be any conflicts between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law in the future." Kira shrugged. "It's indeed fine." Brexter hugged her gently. "It can save you a lot of trouble, especially for people like your parents. They're as difficult to deal with as my parents. Fortunately, after severing ties with my parents, I've been living like a fish in water." "That's right. Looks like I'll have to learn from you." Kira sighed. "Let's go up." "But didn't they say they wanted to stay here?" Brexter reminded her. "Would you like that?" Kira stared at him. "To be honest, I don't like it." Brexter shook his head. "They're too noisy." "It's fine if you don't like it." Kira held his hand and walked in, no longer looking at Gordon and his wife behind her. "Darling, Kira, that wretched girl, must have been possessed." Jesha stomped her foot anxiously. "Why don't we go to the court and cause a ruckus?" "What ruckus?" Gordon snapped. "If we two retirees were really captured, who would save us? Kiera? She's been bewitched by this person. I think we should go and find out if this Brexter is really cold-blooded and heartless." If Kiera really found such a person, it would be a problem for us in terms of relying on her for our future, Jeshua mumbled. Upstairs, Kiera turned to Brexter with a smile. Not bad. Our acting skills are quite good, don't you think? Yes, your acting skills are indeed not bad either. We are husband and wife, and our combined efforts can help us achieve great things, Brexter said with a faint smile. Kiera rolled her eyes at him. Who's your wife? Do you have any shame? You will be in the future. I have to get used to it early, Brexter said as he suddenly carried her into the house. Kiera was shocked. She suddenly covered her chest. What are you doing? They were all alone. It was easy for something to happen in the middle of the night. Nothing. Brexter placed her on the sofa. I don't know when would your parents leave, but since we showed them that you were infatuated with me, they must have thought we were living together, so I can't let you leave yet. Let's wait a little longer. You can go take a shower. Kiera glanced at him warily, raising her eyebrows. After I take a shower, I'm exceptionally sexy, and my skin is white with a tinge of red. Who knows if you'll be able to control yourself? I won't go for the time being. Brexter stared at her for a while, then suddenly pounced on her. I can't control myself anymore. The two of them laughed on the sofa for a while, and then Brexter made her supper before leaving. The next day, Brexter went to work at the court. When he passed by the security booth, he said to the security guard, If anyone comes to inquire about me, remember to make me sound as cold-blooded and heartless as possible. After that, when he left in the afternoon, the security guard at the door called out to him, Chief Judge Williams, you really have a good grasp of things. This morning, a couple really came to inquire about you in a mysterious manner. I followed what you said. The couple looked rather uneasy when they heard it. That's good, Brexter nodded. It seemed like Gordon and his wife wouldn't dare to cause trouble for Kiera for the time being. Without her parents disturbing her, coupled with the fact that she was in a relationship, Kiera had been living like a fish in water, sweet and intimate with Brexter. Seeing that Richard's wedding was getting closer and closer, Kiera found time to pick out a wedding gift for him in the afternoon. Not long after she returned, Sasha came in with a frown. Lawyer Cal, the enemy Lowe's is here. Kiera was stunned for a moment before she realized that she was referring to Garrett. Thinking about it, Rochester's lawyer letter should have already been sent over. Presumably, when he saw Rochester's name, his heart was already trembling in fear. Ask him to leave. I have a lot of things to attend to every day. He's nothing. Kiera lazily turned the pen. Sasha laughed heartily and gave a thumbs up before running out. Not long after, Garrett barged in. Sasha followed behind him helplessly. Lawyer Cal, I told him exactly what you said, but he's so shameless that he insisted on coming in and wasting your precious time. But don't worry, I've already called security. Kiera calmly pressed the timer on the table. Lawyer Lowe's, hurry up and say it. For speaking to me, it'll usually be charged per second. Garrett was so angry that his heart was twitching. However, when he thought about how that lunatic Brexter had actually found Rochester, he still forced himself to smile. Kiera, actually, I'm here to apologize. The reason why I said you were bad was because I loved you too much. I was too deeply in love with you, but you dumped me back then. That's why I let love beget hate. Love has made me unrecognizable. I can't even recognize myself. Kiera had just picked up her coffee cup when she heard his words. She felt so nauseous that she couldn't drink anymore. Sasha turned around and made a gesture of wanting to throw up. Garrett was so angry that his face was white and red at the same time. Kiera clicked her tongue and said, So you can still be embarrassed. A person like you should have learned that one is invincible when one is cheap. Lawyer Lowe's, you didn't master the skill of being shameless. Kiera, what I said is true. Garrett gritted his teeth. He had to endure this matter. When he met a lawyer like Rochester, he had no chance of winning at all. Moreover, Rochester had not gone to court for a long time. His first court case after his comeback would definitely attract a lot of attention. When the whole story of this case begins to spread, his reputation would be ruined. What was worse was that the outcome after going to court would be even uglier. Therefore, for the time being, he could only endure this. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" Kira sneered. "I know you too well. I remember how you insulted me that day when you stood in the court. Let me tell you, Garrett, we have nothing to discuss. Rather than coming to my place, you might as well go back and find yourself a lawyer. As for Vienna's case, you have to be steady. Don't let your client replace you. I will let you lose in my hands." Garrett clenched his fist tightly. "Kiera, don't push it too far. I advise you to leave adequate leeway. You and Brexter are only temporary. Maybe he's just playing with you. Rochester won't be able to help you forever. How about this? I'll compensate you for the loss of your reputation." "How much?" Kira crossed her arms in curiosity. $800,000. Garrett endured the pain and said, "For a case of loss of reputation, this is already a huge amount of money." Kira looked at him with disdain. "You want to dismiss me with such a small amount of money? Do you think I'm a beggar?" "There's nothing to talk about. You can leave now." After saying that, she pressed the timer. "You're the one who delayed me for 12 minutes today. According to my hourly wage, I'm paid $46 per minute. You'll have to pay me $552. However, seeing that we're about to go to court, I can help you round it off. Just pay $550. Hurry up." Garrett couldn't take it anymore. "Kira, why don't you go rob the bank? All right, I'll give you $1 million. Let's reconcile." "Why do you like to talk so much?" Sasha said impatiently. "Can't you see that there's an hourly wage written on the door of our lawyer, Cal? Before you came in, she also told you about it. Are you trying to renege on your debt now?" "You have guts." Garrett's expression was ugly as he took out $600 and threw it on the ground. "Keep the change. It's my tip for you." After he said that, he strode away. Dollar bills were scattered on the ground. Sasha was furious. Bastard, if he didn't pick up this money today. "Forget it. Pick it up." Kira smiled faintly. "Don't feel bad about the money. He will lose his reputation and even peel a layer of his skin later on. You have to understand." "That's true," Sasha chuckled as she picked up the money. "Go treat your colleagues to some delicious food," Kira said nonchalantly. "It's my treat." At 4:30 p.m., Brexter called. "I was in court earlier. I heard Garrett came to look for you." "You're really well informed," Kira chuckled. "I wonder who in our law firm became your informant." "Guess," Brexter smiled. "Are you all right?" "Very well. I knew he would come looking for me. Just feeling a little disgusting, and I couldn't even finish my lunch," Kira said helplessly. "If you can't finish it, then I'll treat you to lunch tomorrow," Brexter said. "I'm resting tomorrow. Didn't we agree to go shopping together last time?" "I'm going to a wedding tomorrow. Richard's getting married." Kira suddenly remembered that Richard had called her in the morning to ask her to bring a date, and if she didn't, he would introduce her to a boyfriend. "Can you bring a date?" Brexter suddenly asked. Kira raised her teacup in surprise. "Do you like this kind of occasion?" Although they hadn't been together for long, she knew that he didn't like to attend the company's banquet. "I don't like it, but it's easy for a love rival to appear at a wedding. I have to keep an eye on you," Brexter said softly. "Kira, it's time for you to bring me out to meet people. You can't keep me in the dark all the time. I won't feel safe." Pfft. Kira spat out a mouthful of tea. After a long while, she came back to her senses and coughed so hard that her face turned red. "Are you all right?" Brexter asked. "Don't choke to death. If you choke to death, it won't be easy for me to find a girlfriend." Kira gritted her teeth, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. "Can you not be so disgusting when you speak? A grown man who has no sense of security." "I'm serious," Brexter said in a serious tone. I'm already busy with work, so I don't have much time to spend with you. I want to get to know you better." "All right, I'll bring you as my date," Kira said with a smile. "Come and pick me up tomorrow morning." "Okay." The next day, Kira was resting. It was rare for her to sleep in, so when she was still lazing around in bed, the doorbell rang. She opened the door and was speechless when she saw Brexter's face. "Come on, it's only 9 o'clock. Why are you here so early?" "Am I early? I usually wake up at 7 a.m. I've been dawdling at home for an hour and I'm really bored, so I came over," Brexter said as he sized up the dark pink velvet pajamas she was wearing. Her long hair was slightly disheveled and draped over her shoulders. The color matched her skin perfectly. It was sexy and filled with a seductive charm. "You're not up yet?" "Yes, it's rare for me to have a break. I'll definitely sleep in," Kira yawned. "How boring would it be for you to rest at home without a girlfriend?" "It's fine. When I don't have a girlfriend, I'll watch TV and play ball with my colleagues. It's not a big deal. But now that I have you, I want to give you all the spare time I have." Brexter lowered his head and pecked her lips. "I didn't brush my teeth." Kira turned to avoid him. "Can you wait for me outside? I need to tidy myself up." "You look good even if you don't tidy yourself up," Brexter blurted out. Kira blushed and rolled her eyes at him. "You ate honey so early in the morning." "I wanted to eat it just now, but I didn't manage to." Brexter was serious. Kira recalled the kiss just now and her face burned. She couldn't continue. "Wait for me." "Okay." Brexter sat on the sofa thinking that the words "wait for me" could sound so nice, especially in that gentle tone. He really wanted to marry her. After sitting quietly for a while, Brexter took out the breakfast he had bought and put them on the plates. He then turned and went to the washroom. As soon as he entered, he saw a basket beside the washing machine. Kira's undergarments were inside. His ears were red. He took them out and washed them with his hands. Kira came out after washing up and found that he was not in the living room. He probably had gone to the bathroom. Just as she picked up a cup of coffee on the table, she suddenly remembered that she was too lazy last night. She had been lazy after taking a shower and had not even done her laundry. Oh dear! Oh dear! If he saw her dirty clothes, would he think that she was too lazy? Kira rushed into the bathroom. The moment she rushed in, she wanted to dig her eyes out. Brexter was so scared that he quickly buckled his belt. His cold face flushed red from the inside out. He gritted his teeth. "Kira, what do you want?" Kira realized that she had lived for 29 years, and this was the first time she had lived to the point where she wanted to unborn herself. That's right. What was she doing? How could she barge in just because she was afraid that others would see her clothes? Don't forget, this was a washroom. Why couldn't she think that someone could be using it? Luckily, she reacted quickly. Her face flushed red as she quickly covered her stomach. My stomach hurts. I must have eaten something bad yesterday." Brexter stared at her expressionlessly. "Isn't there a bathroom in your master bedroom?" "But I'm not used to the toilet in the master bedroom." Kira blinked her big, watery eyes. "It hurts. Can you go out first?" Brexter then pursed his lips and walked out. When he left, he remembered that the undergarment was still in the sink, so he picked it up. Kira saw it too, her brain rumbling. Wait, my clothes. What she was most afraid of had happened, but what was worse was that Brexter had actually washed it. She was very embarrassed. She had lived for 29 years. This was the first time she had encountered such a dilemma. "Oh, I washed it for you just now." Brexter turned his face away to prevent her from seeing his slightly flushed face. "I'll go and dry it." "No, you don't need to. I can dry it myself." Kira rushed over and brought the clothes over. "You don't have a stomachache?" Brexter looked at her with a complicated gaze. "It's a little better. I'll go and dry it first." Kira rushed towards the balcony in a hurry. Brexter looked at her back and was silent for a while. Suddenly, a bright light flashed across his eyes, and he smiled. 5 minutes later, Kira came in from the balcony and walked towards the bathroom without saying a word. She couldn't face Brexter calmly now. When she saw him, she couldn't help but have a misconception. "Where are you going?" Rexter, who was sitting in the dining room, turned around elegantly. "I'm going to the bathroom," Kiera answered as she braced herself. She had to justify her lie. "Are you really suffering from a stomachache?" Rexter tapped his fingers on the wooden table. "Aren't you just afraid that I'll see your undergarments? I've seen them, and I've washed them." The lie was exposed just like that. Kiera was extremely embarrassed. She was frustrated. Sometimes it wasn't a good idea to find a man who was too smart. "Kiera." Rexter stood up slowly and walked towards her. He placed one hand on the wine cabinet behind her and whispered in a hoarse voice, "You have to get used to it. I want to do this for the rest of my life." Kiera raised her head abruptly to meet his gaze. She felt embarrassed, complicated, and slightly fuzzy. I'm more used to doing it myself. I appreciate your efforts." "It's only because you're not used to it now," Rexter continued calmly. "You'll be fine once you get used to it. There's one thing, though. Don't you think you have to be responsible for me?" Kiera's scalp started to tingle. "Just now?" Rexter clenched his fist and coughed lightly. He said unnaturally, "I was completely unreserved in front of you." He had been completely unreserved? He couldn't mean... Kiera's forehead buzzed. Don't say anything else. You just have to be responsible." Rexter pressed his finger against her pink lips. "Don't leave a scar in my heart." Kiera opened her mouth, wanting to say that he was the one who left a shadow in her heart. "If you dare to reject me, I will definitely pursue the matter to the end," Rexter whispered into her ear. "Speaking of the law, you should know what kind of criminal law you've just committed." Kiera shuddered and said, "I really deserve to die for my crimes." "Not to the extent of deserving to die. Just be responsible for me," Rexter said as he led her towards the dining table. "Let's eat breakfast." Kiera finished her breakfast without realizing what she was eating. After she finished, she forgot what she had eaten. It didn't take long before she received a call from Caleb. "When are you going over?" "Around 10 o'clock, Kiera pondered. "The hotel's quite far away, and Jennifer is getting married today. She has a lot of fans, and a lot of media will be coming over. I'm worried that there will be a traffic jam over there, so it's better to go over earlier." "I think so, too. I'll go over earlier to give out business cards," Caleb chuckled. "Those who will be attending the wedding today will definitely be big shots. I have to get a few of them." Compared to her, she seemed to be slacking off when it came to dating. Kiera quickly perked up and went to the wardrobe to pick out a blue gown with slanted shoulders. The gown fell to the side of her ankles, accentuating her perfect curves from top to bottom. Her skin was so smooth that it could glow. In addition, she had put on exquisite makeup and her hair was tied up. Her bangs parted to reveal her full forehead. There were a few bangs on her cheeks, and she instantly exuded an elegant and capable aura. Rexter had never seen her dressed so exquisitely and meticulously. But looking at her appearance, especially after she changed into a pair of high heels at the door, he felt that she would definitely be a highlight at today's wedding banquet. This made him palpitate, but he also wanted to hide her. "It's just a wedding banquet. Is there a need to overdress?" Rexter's gaze landed on her exposed shoulders, his eyes revealing a hint of possessiveness. "As for..." Kiera raised her brows. "Jennifer is the top artist in the entertainment industry. Her wedding is a big event. Many entertainment reporters will be there today. No matter where one goes, there will be cameras taking photos. So one has to dress up." Rexter rubbed the space between his brows. "You are not a celebrity. The entertainment reporters won't pay attention to you." "I know," Kiera said with a faint smile. "I'm going to get them to pay attention to me. At the same time, the people who are coming today are all rich and powerful. So in order to get more clients, I have to be fully armed. This so-called armed is not only to show off my beauty, but also to show off that I'm a lawyer who has earned a lot of money. This way, others will think that I'm amazing and I have that confidence that comes from the bottom of my heart. Brexter said nothing. Forget it. You don't have to understand because you're above us. Kira looked at his strange expression and sighed, reaching out her hand. Let's go. Brexter held her hand. When they got into the car, he suddenly said, Kira, you can do whatever you want. In any case, if the sky falls, I'll be the one carrying it. You just have to do what you like. Kira paused as she got into the car, her eyes filled with doubt. You must be tired from pretending to be tough all the time. Brexter turned to look at her. It's all right, Kira muttered. I like to look awesome. Brexter was silent for a moment before he smiled helplessly. What a spoiled woman. The hotel that Richard was engaged to was the largest resort hotel in the entire Rosewood City. It was located at the edge of a scenic area. Today, fans and media from all over the country were gathered at the entrance of the hotel. Some of them had been waiting there since yesterday. But fortunately, Richard had arranged for a large number of security guards to maintain the order of the hotel, so as to pave a path for the guest. Kira's car slowly drove forward, and many fans by the side of the road raised their signs. Brexter glanced at them, and there were even students among them. He couldn't understand and frowned. Celebrities are also people. What's so special about them that these people have to be so crazy over them? Jennifer's acting isn't bad. She's quite popular with the fans, and there aren't any bad comments about her, Kira said casually as she sent a message. No matter how popular she is, I'll just watch it on TV. Brexter frowned. If my child was so crazy about celebrities that he neglects to study, I'd definitely make him memorize criminal law before he's allowed to leave the house. Kira shuddered at the thought of the thick book Criminal Law. They chatted as the car drove into the hotel. The internal security was very strict. There were only a few mainstream media taking photos. On the way, she bumped into a few familiar faces from Splingo Corporation, waving at them one by one. Someone from Splingo Corporation glanced at Brexter beside her and asked, Kira, is this your boyfriend? When did you solve the problem of being single silently? A while ago, Richard went around looking for a suitable senior executive for you in our company. For some reason, after he finished joking, he suddenly felt a little cold. Marvin, who was walking over, saw the scene and cursed the man in his heart. Then he silently prayed for Richard, hoping that he wouldn't make such a potential enemy. But Lawyer Kell was really too much. Why did she have to go for Brexter? One lawyer and one judge? Wasn't this relationship between a cat and a mouse? Congratulations, Lawyer Kell and Judge Williams. Marvin put away the slander in his heart and shook hands with a smile. Long time no see. Just as he was about to hold Kira's hand, a large palm reached out and grabbed his. Long time no see, Brexter said coldly. Marvin thought to himself, who hasn't seen you in a long time? I was obviously talking to Lawyer Kell. His possessiveness is comparable to my boss. Judge Williams seems to be riding high with confidence, Marvin smirked. President Bennett and Richard are over there. They told me to call you over and take a photo when you arrive. Kira nodded. Brexter could only frown. As Kira walked over, she met quite a number of artists who worked under Richard. However, she did not pay much attention to them. Last time, when her reputation was at its worst, these people did not hesitate to cut ties with her on the internet, even though she had helped them in court before and fought for the biggest benefits. When she walked to the flower stand, she happened to see Jennifer, April, and Winnie taking a photo together. The three of them stood together like a shining light. She had already seen many guests secretly taking photos. After all, Winnie was not only a popular singer now, but also Jeffrey's wife. She couldn't help but look at Brexter beside her. After all, they were three beautiful women. He should at least take a look, but she saw him lowering his head and playing with his phone. She glanced at him and saw that he was retweeting some tweets. Almighty moments tell us what to do as soon as we lose our ID cards. Kira was speechless. She felt unhappy yet helpless. When facing so many stars and beautiful women, he could still focus on retweeting. Kiera! At this moment, Richard walked over and looked at her with a shocked expression. Damn, you're really together with Chief Judge Williams. Yeah, Kiera nodded. At that moment, Brexter raised his head from his phone and looked at Richard with cold eyes. He seemed to have seen Richard at Aaron's banquet before, but he didn't pay much attention then. So was this the person who said that he wanted to introduce Kiera to the company's senior executives? Richard felt goosebumps all over his body. It was supposed to be a happy day, but he suddenly felt like he was being stared at by a dark wolf. Hello, Mr. Williams. Do you remember me? We've met many times, Richard greeted him. Oh, I remember. Brexter nodded and said expressionlessly, I heard that you're going to introduce a partner to Kiera. Thank you for your concern, but there's no need for that in the future. She has me now. Richard knew that she had him now. There was no need for him to say it out loud. Richard recalled the video of Kiera and him working together in the parking lot to ask for compensation. He suddenly had a strong urge to build a good relationship with them. I was being superfluous. When I saw your appearance, I realized Kiera and you are a perfect match. It was no wonder that Kiera hadn't found a boyfriend. She was probably waiting for you. Kiera's mouth twitched. She felt like throwing up. Brexter was very satisfied with what he had said. The corners of his eyes started to melt and a faint smile appeared on his face. Aaron, who was walking over, rubbed the space between his eyebrows, trying his best to resist the urge to choke him. You two have become comfortable quite quickly. Aaron walked over with his hands in his pockets. If I knew that you two would fall in love, I could have been a matchmaker. I guess it's a coincidence. You two should have met each other on my son's birthday. Why didn't you think about dating then? Kiera opened her mouth and was about to say something when Brexter said with a faint smile, I didn't think about it. Maybe I was attracted to her after she lost the lawsuit to me and cursed me in the toilet that I would be impotent after I got married. Richard was speechless. Aaron choked. He was unique. Kiera wanted to crawl into a hole. She forced herself to smile and said, Don't talk about such things. The past is unbearable. I don't think so. Our past is filled with love and hatred. It's very sweet. Brexter nodded in a good mood. By the way, didn't you buy Mr. Richard a wedding present? Yes. Kiera quickly took out the jewelry box she had bought as a gift. I hope you two stay happy. After so many years, thank you for taking care of me. Congratulations on finally achieving your wish. Thank you. Richard took it from her. Jennifer was waving at him, so he quickly said, You should take a photo with her too. Okay. Kiera glanced at Brexter worriedly. Go. Aaron and I are old friends. Brexter touched the back of her head. After Kiera left, Brexter asked Aaron directly, You said that the grudge between Kiera's family is related to your wife's brother? You still remember that? Aaron was speechless. It's not a big issue. What happened to her is a big issue to me, Brexter said lightly. Aaron looked at him with a strange expression. Are you serious? When was I not serious? Kiera's a good woman, Brexter frowned. We've been classmates for many years, but you don't know me well. That's true. Aaron thought for a while and asked, Didn't you have a fiancé in the past? Have you let go of her? Don't you miss her at all? Richard was stunned. What? You had a fiancé before? Kiera was his friend, and he hoped that she wouldn't have to deal with a man. Brexter said indifferently, Is it strange to have a fiancé? I remember that you and Jenica were inseparable when you were in junior high school. You followed her everywhere except going to the toilet. You were already on hot dates before you were 20 years old. Didn't I hear that you were going to get married too? Both parties' parents had already approved. Why did you marry another woman later? Aaron was speechless. He was secretly glad that April wasn't around. His wife was very sensitive to the name Jenica. "Did you let go of your ex when you were dating your wife?" Rexter asked Aaron calmly. "When you were dating your wife, did you miss your ex? After all, you and Jenica were childhood sweethearts." Richard looked at Aaron's defeated face and felt a little sorry for him. At the same time, he sighed at Rexter's wickedness. He was just asking about his fiancée. Why did he have to mention Jenica? If April heard that, Aaron would have to sleep on the sofa again. "I don't think I've said anything." Aaron gnashed his teeth. "Kiera is Flingo Corporation's lawyer, and she is very important to our company, especially since we have a few big projects to draft by the end of the year. Don't hurt her feelings and delay our projects." Richard nodded vigorously. "Kiera is of marriageable age. It's not suitable for her to date for fun. It's more important to find a reliable person to marry." "You're right. I'm the reliable one, and I'm also devoted to her. Speaking of which, you haven't answered my question about Kiera's relationship with your wife's brother." "Kiera's relationship with her parents isn't very good," Rexter said. He wasn't as hostile towards them anymore, as he could tell that they really cared about Kiera. However, he thought that Kiera's relationship with the opposite sex was a little too good. Aaron sneered. "Her parents deserved it. They shouldn't have picked on me. They just needed to vent their anger on Kiera." Then he told the whole story. "Ella isn't a good person at all. It's best if she doesn't wake up for the rest of her life. If she does wake up and yet not reflect on her past actions, the problem will persist." "Yeah, if she wakes up, she might pick on Winnie," Richard sighed. "I think they're all greedy. When Ella was in school, Kiera treated her well. She used to send her a lot of pocket money, especially after college. Kiera paid for her tuition, accommodation, and living expenses all by herself. Kiera's parents were ordinary office workers, but Ella wore branded clothes every day. In the end, she even went home and asked to buy a Porsche. She was only in her first year of college and she wanted to buy a Porsche? She's crazy." Kiera didn't agree to it. When Kiera lectured her, she even said that her sister was stingy. "Did this actually happen?" Aaron frowned. "You don't know a lot." Richard sighed. Rexter had a general understanding of what had happened. Kiera's parents were unreasonable, and her sister was in a worse condition. He really didn't know how Kiera survived. He would never let these people hurt her again. "What are you talking about?" April's voice suddenly came into their ears. Some women had come to their side. "We're talking about Rexter and Kiera's relationship." Aaron quickly hugged his wife and said with a smile, "They're a perfect couple." When April was taking photos, she had heard Kiera mention this. She was surprised. She had heard Aaron talk about Rexter before, so she couldn't say that he wasn't a good person. However, he was a ruthless person. Was he suitable for Kiera? Rexter's looks were incredible, even though she faced Aaron every day. She couldn't help but feel that this man had a strong sense of abstinence. "A strong alliance," Richard added. "That's right. I think so too." Kiera nodded with a smile. Winnie smiled and said, "Congratulations, Kiera. You finally found your happiness. You must invite me to your wedding." "Of course," Kiera pursed her lips and said, "I gave you a gift when you got married. I have to get my gift too." "She's..." Rexter stared at Winnie. "Winnie, you don't even know her?" Richard said speechlessly. "She's the most popular singer in the music industry. She's also April's sister-in-law." Rexter suddenly realized that it was Winnie who was involved in Ella's triangle relationship with Jeffrey. "I'm sorry, I don't usually listen to music. If she got involved in a lawsuit and went to court, I would have known her." Winnie was speechless. In that case, she would have to beg him not to get to know her for the rest of his life.
Jennifer laughed. "Kiera, this boyfriend of yours is very interesting. It seems like he definitely doesn't know me either."
"I know you," Rexter nodded. "Every year you have several lawsuits that appear in our Rosewood City Court." Didn't you win a reputation defense case this year and the other party compensated you with $50,000?
Jennifer smiled. Don't tell me you're the chief judge on that case. Brexter shook his head.
Such a small case would normally be assigned to me.
Jennifer was speechless again. How could her lawsuit be small? She was a big star after all, and she was highly regarded by the people. So many people were chatting, and the conversation was so intense that no one said anything. In the end, Kiera cleared her throat and said, Brexter, Winnie said that a friend of hers has recently been involved in a case where her portrait rights were violated. I'd like to go over and find out more about it.
Go ahead. I'll find a seat and wait for you.
Brexter nodded calmly. Not long after Kiera and Winnie left, Aaron, Richard, and the others also left because they were entertaining guests and friends. Brexter found a seat and waited. Many people came to the banquet just to get to know more friends and expand their social circle. However, for people like him, he didn't need to socialize. There were some fruits on the table. He ate while reading the social news. After eating for a long time, a shadow cast over his head. He raised his head and saw a man in his 30s standing by his side. He was wearing a gray suit and white casual pants. There was a handkerchief folded in the pocket of his suit. He had a long face, an eagle nose, and an earring on his right ear. This face. Brexter raised his eyebrow slightly, then frowned slightly.
Gail? I'm glad you still remember an old acquaintance like me.
Gail laughed lightly, his eyes filled with coldness.
But it's not surprising. After so many years, you must have hated me to the core.
Brexter calmly and elegantly unshelled an almond and said indifferently,
You think too much. Stop pretending. Weren't you so angry that you attacked me back then? Gail sneered. I don't fucking understand why Tasha took a liking for a coward like you back then. Is being a judge that great? I don't think so. At the crucial moment, you still rely on me.
Brexter put the almond into his mouth and chewed slowly. His calm gaze seemed as though he did not put anyone in his eyes at all. Gail was inexplicably annoyed.
It's a pity that Tasha treated me as a scavenger. She thought that I would really be with her if I helped her family. I wouldn't want what others wanted. I'm tired of playing with her all these years. She thought that I would marry her. Fat hope. Gail.
Brexter slowly stood up, his gaze sharp.
What are you trying to say? Are you bragging about how you stole Tasha back then? Didn't you like her back then? Huh. I did like her, but she chose you when I pursued her. How could I, Gail Carnegie, not be comparable to you? He scoffed. I only helped her back then to toy with her. If you wanted to toy with her, then there's no need for you to be so jealous and hate me. You've said so much to me here because you're unwilling to accept it, so you wanted to vent your anger on me. Brexter's gaze gradually darkened. I don't care what your motives are. Tasha and I are already in the past. Please stay away from me. Besides, this is a friend's wedding. Let's get it right. This isn't a place for you to make a scene. You... Gail clenched his fist, his eyes sparkling.
Brexter, who is this? Kiera walked over at this moment. She sized Gail up. He wasn't bad looking, but standing beside Brexter, it was the difference between a genuine and a pirated version of a brand. Gail's gaze landed on her. A flash of surprise and astonishment. After a while, he smiled strangely.
Judge Williams, this is...
Brexter smiled calmly, his thin lips moving slightly.
Mr. Carnegie, you can get out of here now.
Kiera was speechless. Gail's expression changed several times, and suddenly, he smiled.
You don't have to hate me so much, right? I didn't mean to snatch your fiancée away back then. She insisted on following me. What can I do? But if you couldn't let her go, you could continue chasing after her. Since we've already broken up, there's no need for you to send a message to Tasha in the middle of the night telling her to return to your side.
Kira furrowed her brows, a cold glint flashing in Brexter's eyes.
Gail, you can go to jail for spouting nonsense sometimes. If you don't want people to know, don't do it yourself, Gail sneered. Do you know why I agreed to break up with her in the end? It was because I found out that Tasha had an abortion because of you.
Kira's mind was buzzing. She was momentarily absent-minded. Brexter's eyes flared up, and he reached out to grab Gail's collar.
Try spouting nonsense again. Tasha and I never had an intimate relationship. I didn't expect you to come up with such a ridiculous lie when you're desperate, Gail scoffed. You were together for 2 years and you were already engaged to each other. Who would believe that you didn't have an intimate relationship?
Kira lowered her eyelashes and fell silent. Brexter glanced at her, his fists cracking.
What? This is a wedding. You're not going to attack me, are you?
Gail raised his chin. Kira suddenly looked at Brexter, who was very tense. She sighed and reached out to grab his arm. Don't attack him here. There is media everywhere. He was a judge. It wouldn't be good if he got into a fight. Gail only dared to act recklessly because of this.
Pretty lady, I admire your rationality.
Gail smiled as he took out his name card from his pocket and handed it to Kiera.
My name is Gail.
Kiera glanced at his name card. He was the general manager at a big organization. It was a big clothing brand in the country. Price wasn't particularly expensive, so it had attracted a lot of low to middle-range consumers. And its business was doing quite well. She hadn't expected Brexter's ex-girlfriend to find such a boyfriend. It seemed that his ex-girlfriend was born well, too. Just as she was lost in her thoughts, Brexter had already snatched the name card and torn it apart. He then said coldly, She doesn't need to know about you, Gail. Keep your thoughts to yourself. After saying that, he held Kira's hand and left. Gail looked at their holding hands and curled his lips into a strange smile.
No wonder you're in such a hurry to leave. So she's your girlfriend. You're afraid I'll say more embarrassing things, aren't you? Pretty lady, I really pity you. Don't you feel uncomfortable finding a man who got another woman pregnant?
Kira stopped in her tracks and turned around to smile at him. I feel more disgusted by you. You aim to sow discord, isn't it? Actually, the past is already in the past. If you keep pestering, it means that you haven't let it go at all. At the same time, it also means that you're narrow-minded. As a high-ranking official in your company, being unforgiving can be fatal. Besides, this is Richard's wedding, and we're very close. If you continue to act like this, I'll get him to kick you out easily. After all, your company is really incomparable to Splingo Corporation. The smile on Gail's face gradually froze. Kira shook off Brexter's hand and turned around. This time, it was her turn to take out her name card. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Kiera, and I'm a lawyer. I'm best at criminal cases such as murder or divorce cases like your parents getting divorced or your woman cheated all your money. If you encounter any of the above cases, you can look for me. Since you and Brexter are old acquaintances, I can give you a 20% discount. Goodbye. After that, Brexter ignored Gail's livid expression and dragged Kiera away. Brexter looked at his woman's side profile with admiration. She was as fierce and powerful as ever. That's why he had fallen in love with her. Not only could she protect herself, but she could also protect him. The more he looked at her, the more he liked her. The more he looked at her, the more he felt that she was special. However, her silence made him feel uneasy.
Kira, what he said just now was all fake.
After Gail disappeared behind them, Brexter pulled her to a stop. There was a hint of nervousness in his calm gaze. Kira stopped to calm herself down before raising her head. Brexter, you were already engaged. The abortion might have been made up by someone else. But there's no need to lie about not having had sex. I'm not an unreasonable person. She admitted that she felt especially uncomfortable now. It was as if a pepper jar had been knocked over, but there weren't kids anymore. The adult world was very complicated, so she didn't really believe that they hadn't had a relationship. When I decided to be with you, I thought of many things, Kiera said with her eyelashes lowered. I really didn't. Brexter smiled bitterly, extremely helpless. I don't have any experience. If you really don't believe it, when you experiment with me, you'll know how inexperienced I am. Kiera raised her head with a cold smile. It would be weird if I believed you, someone who knows how to act like a hooligan. Brexter sighed helplessly in his heart. I'm telling the truth. I'm not being a hooligan. Kiera sneered at him that she would be stupid to believe him. Couldn't he see that she was currently in a bad mood? Why did she still want to put it into practice with him? It was not that she was stupid. Looks like your ex-girlfriend has gone back to being single, Kiera reminded him with a fake smile. Your love rival even hates you. What an era of war that I shouldn't have brought you here today. Do you think your ex-girlfriend will come looking for you? Brexter furrowed his brows as well. The two of them had been lovey-dovey in the morning, but now the atmosphere was completely ruined by Gale. Kiera, I've never hidden my past from you, and I won't do it in the future. His two big hands gently pressed on her small shoulders. I've decided to be with you. I'm serious. I like you, and this affection isn't something anyone can replace. I know very well that the past is the past. Take you, for example. If Aaron, whom you've had a crush on for years, suddenly abandoned his wife to come back and go after you, would you accept him? Kiera imagined that scene in shock. She only felt a chill run down her spine rather than being surprised. Don't talk about my crush on Aaron again, okay? It's not the same thing. I've never been engaged to him, and we've never shared a bed. In my heart, it's the same thing. What is a crush? It's something you can't get, and what you can't get is always in commotion. Brexter took a step forward with his long legs and with his solemn gaze. It's the white moonlight in your heart, the cinnabar mole in your mind. He didn't know why, but the more he spoke, the more angry he got. If Aaron was standing in front of him now, he would definitely strangle him to death. Kiera was forced to back off by his words. Chief Judge Williams, you should never talk about it with a lawyer. A lawyer's mind is always clear, even on the battlefield. I know how to differentiate my own feelings. I know how to differentiate too. A judge will be clearer than a lawyer. You are the only one in my heart right now. Brexter did not want to see her chattering mouth spew out any more doubtful words, so he bent down to block her lips.